Students failing are on a high rise now. In a study of 53 countries, approximately 25% failed high-stake exams. In the US, 2 out of 5 students don't complete their bachelor's degree, while in the UK, there is 28% rise in the students that don't complete their degrees. Even in Africa, in the most populous country, which is called Nigeria, they also have a dropout rate of 2 out of 5. And a lot of people think that social media and AI are the reason of this mass failure and dropout rates, which is a part of the problem. But the main problem is the lack of reading techniques for students to follow. And studies have been done again and again about the best reading technique, which is the main reason of this video, and which is called active recall. It can be also called repeated testing. There's a study of Rudiger and Carpico in 2006, which is called Test Enhanced Learning. It was found that repeated testing, not just restudying, substantially increased long-term retention of learned material, while the repeated studying had a better short-term effect. What's the difference between repeated testing and repeated studying? Repeated testing, which is commonly known as active recall, is what we are going to do in this video in depth. This is by testing yourself on the learned material without seeing the material, whether it's by writing notes or using software or apps to ask you questions without seeing the learned material. While repeated studying is you seeing the learned material and just rereading, highlighting, or making summary of what you've learned over and over and again, hoping that you remember it during exams. Let me share my personal story. When I was in primary school, in the beginning of my studies, I used to get first position. But the problem was, I used to get first position twice in a single term. And we were only 13 in class. That means I was at the back of the class. In secondary school, I used to get like 13 position. But in this case, we were more, about 40. Then in university, my CGPA is in the 4s. How did I go from being the back of the class to having a CGPA of 4? It's through active recall. And active recall is a game changer. With the help of active recall, Isaac Newton mastered Euclid's Elements, which comprises of 13 books and is the foundation of mathematics and geometry. He also grasps modern analysis, binomial theorem, and developed calculus. And also he founded the 3 laws of motion that we all live by. So, how do you use this active recall? Let's give a scenario that you have 1 month to exams and you have to cover 30 pages to read. Firstly, you study the 30 pages for the first time, just normal, casual, you just go through it. Then secondly, you then restudy the 30 pages, but this time you will write down possible questions from the 30 pages. And the way you write it down is based on the temperament of your teacher or lecturer. If you know that this lecturer is like tough and hard based on his past exams and how he's lecturing, you write down other questions. But if it's kind of lenient from past questions, with the way he used to lecture before, your questions will also be lenient, but don't overdo it because the lecturer can just shock you. And a keynote here, the questions you write should be more than the questions that the lecturer usually give in his exams. Let's say, for example, the lecturer gives 60 questions. Your own questions should be about 100, so that you know that when the time of exams come, the lecturer's 60 questions will come from your 100 questions. Then, fourthly, when you have the questions on a paper or a PDF, the next time you study for the exams, you will not go to your 30 pages of material to read. It's the questions that you wrote down, whether the 100 or the 97 questions that you wrote down. It's those questions that you go through and see how you can answer those questions. And if you don't know any questions, let's say you don't know number 7, you go back to your 30 pages and know what number 7 is. And you would like to subscribe or possibly like, because the next video will be on spaced repetition and you wouldn't want to miss it. Peace out.